how's it going? It's Jamie, the crafty DIY guy. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking apart some old DIY projects that I did in the past, and I'm literally going to be recycling those into brand new DIYs for you. I've already kind of taken everything apart. I will do that, like if I get tired of a DIY or if I want to kind of, not have it hanging up in the house anymore, but I don't want to throw it away. I will take it apart and salvage what I can with it. So all of the projects that I'm going to be doing for you today literally are from old projects that I made that you've already seen here on the channel. I'm really excited about that because I think it's important for us to be able to reuse and recycle. And not all of us are able to go out in public right now. Not all of us are able to go out and about. I've been fully vaccinated. Of course, I'm still being safe. But, you want to be able to have some options. And sometimes looking at that old DIY project hanging up on the wall that you might be getting a little tired of, you can revamp it into something brand new. And that's what we've done today. If you are one of my long-term subscribers, my short-term subscribers, one of my newbies, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If YouTube happened to recommend this video to you, thank you, YouTube. I appreciate you as well. And I hope that you will consider joining and subscribing. And I don't know why I said join, it's not really joining anything. But I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel and watch some really fun DIY videos or some shopping hauls or some crafting or some home reno projects. I try to do a little bit of everything. All right, I am rambling along. So instead of doing that, let's just get into the video. All right, everyone, and for my first DIY, I'm going to be using 3 of these triangular frames. These are actually recycled from an old project. You may remember these at Dollar Tree. They had like lions and animals on them, and they were kind of decorative for kids' rooms. Well, I'm using them from an old project, and I'm also going to be using a piece of tag board. So I'm going to take my tag board, and I'm just going to cut it down to be the same size as the triangle that is going to be one of the frames. And so what I'm going to do is just take my Dollar Tree X-Acto knife. I'm going to cut out a piece of triangle that's going to fit perfectly along the bottom, and then I'm going to glue that triangle down to the base of the triangle. So I'm going to glue the poster board triangle onto the bottom of the wooden triangle frame, kind of like so. Now you can see that some of these are damaged from taking off the previous design pieces and things that I did with this old DIY, but no worries at all. I'm going to actually glue these down to where you're not going to see those types of things, and I'm going to give everything a fresh coat of paint. So very easy to fix this. I'm going to add a decent amount of hot glue onto this bottom piece because that one is the most important. And then I'm going to make sure that all of my frames are going the same way with that groove going down. And then I'm going to glue the second frame on top of this. I decided not to go with 3 frames because I actually liked the depth of 2 frames. You could certainly go with 3 if you were going to maybe add more rocks or something to this. But since this is going to be tabletop and it's also going to hold faux plants, I'm going to go with the shorter version. So again, just going to use 2 of those frames. Now that everything has been spray painted, I used a nice flat black matte spray paint. I didn't record that part because I was doing it out at night and you wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. So now I'm just going to add some Dollar Tree rocks to this, and then I'm going to add some of the Dollar Tree moss rocks to this as well. I love working with those moss rocks, and I really like working with the Dollar Tree rocks as well. And what I think is super cool about them is the way that you can really mix and match those. And then as you can see here, I'm just kind of adding Dollar Tree rocks and kind of putting it just on one side of that triangle and trying to make sure I get every single little rock there. And then for these larger kind of moss colored rocks that you can pick up at Dollar Tree, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of sprinkle them throughout here and just kind of lay them out in that kind of blank section there. And I'm just kind of adjusting them and moving them around a little bit just to make sure that everything is fitting within that little space there. And anything that doesn't fit, you could certainly add more Dollar Tree rocks. You could put all Dollar Tree rocks in there. I think it would look really cute if it had some of those Dollar Tree birch pieces, sand, or shells. You can really fill this up with anything. And then just add your Dollar Tree succulents. And you're going to keep doing this, maybe even adding more rocks or more moss colored rocks until you have a triangular succulent tray like this. This is actually a Kirkland's dupe. I saw this at Kirkland's, and I think it was a lot more than, we'll say, less than $10, which is what I made this one for. Again, using some recycled materials, some Dollar Tree succulents, and Dollar Tree filler with those rocks and those Dollar Tree rocks and the moss-colored rocks. Again, love this. Think that it's super, super contemporary, and just very, very happy with the way that this one turned out. Now, project number 2 is also using some recycled materials. I have this old clock face that I used from a previous material. This pulley I grabbed during my last haul at Ace Hardware. And then I have this piece of board that has some glue pieces in like a magnet or something. I'm not sure exactly what that is glued on there. So first thing I'm going to do is carefully pry all of those off. I am going to be using this Dollar Tree kind of razor blade, or this box cutter. And I did also heat these up with my heat gun. That way that glue would kind of loosen up a little bit. And then, as you will see, this is all made with shims. Now, shims you can pick up at your hardware store. And I went ahead and had these shims that were already glued together from a previous project. You could easily replicate this with some large popsicle sticks or even some paint sticks. So feel free to use any of those. To kind of fix those areas where I pulled those glue pieces off, I am actually just going to take shoe polish. I love working with shoe polish as a possible stain alternative. It does not get sticky. It dries really well. It does take a little while to dry, but you can use your heat gun and it will actually help speed up that process. So all I'm doing here is just taking my sponge and I'm literally just going to dab it on, and I'm kind of filling in those crevices and cracks where that glue was, and then I'm just going to give everything a fresh coat of that shoe polish just to really brighten up all that wood. You could use antiquing wax, you could use regular stain if you wanted to. Either one of these are perfectly fine. And then I'm going to take the heat gun again, just going back and forth across this until it is nice and dry. Now for my rope, I did go ahead and take my pulley, and of course it had this lovely price tag on it that was a pain in the butt to remove. I did end up heating it up with my heat gun, and then it came off really easily. For my rope, I'm going to just kind of eyeball how much rope I want to use. The great thing about this rope is that it fits perfectly on that pulley, as you can see. And I kind of am going to eyeball it. Now I'm going to flip the frame over, or at least figure out which side of the pulley I want to use. And then I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to take that rope, I'm going to cut it down, and I'm going to glue it to the back of the frame. Now, you see that duct tape from the previous project. Don't even let that worry about you. Don't let that worry you. It's going to hang on the back of the wall. I'm going to take my 2 pieces of rope. I'm going to eyeball it again on where I'm going to glue those down. And then I'm just going to take my Surebonder glue gun. I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue and put that rope in place kind of like so. I'm going to repeat it on the other side. Remember, we've got that pulley, so I'm not totally concerned if they are exactly matching up or not. I'm more worried about the spacing and making sure that the spacing looks accurate. Now, for the extra kind of security, I always add some of my masking tape right on top, or the painter's tape, right on top of that rope, and while the glue is still hot. Now, you can see kind of what the pulley is going to look like, and not totally loving the pulley, I'll be honest. I'm going to actually take that out and spray paint it. Now, for the clock mechanism, because it is important to be able to change the clock out when the batteries die, I am going to go ahead and make sure that I put this at the top or in the center there, right where that kind of hanger that was built onto the back of that clock mechanism. I did get this at Amazon, by the way. I'm just going to mark it with my black Sharpie, and then I'm going to take a nail, and just a very small finishing nail, and hammer it directly in there. Now, this is the part where I took the pulley apart. You can see the kind of copper colored wheel up there. And I took the pulley out, spray painted it black, and brought it back in, reassembled it, and I am so in love with this clock. It has a super cool, very modern, very industrial feel, and I love the way this looks. This clock is going to be in my living room for quite a while. I love the way that pulley looks. I love the hardware. I love the use of the nautical rope with the wood and the black matte metal and the finishes. I'm so happy with this one. And for my last project here, this is also recycled material. I don't know if you guys have ever bought these things at Dollar Tree, but if you have not, stay away because they are extremely addicting and very yummy. Then I have these great stickers that I also picked up from Dollar Tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this out, and I spray painted it my matte black. I didn't show you that because it's pretty straightforward. Now for the glue, I am going to use my Surebonder glue gun, and I am literally going to be gluing these tiles onto that cookie jar. Now, those tiles do not fit perfectly flat, but I kind of wanted that because I wanted this to kind of look very industrial and just kind of different. And when it's all done, I simply added some lamb's ear because that was the first set of greenery I could find. And as you will see, it gives you a very cool, very unique, and very different vase. And all of these projects were made with recyclable materials.